What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about static. Now, when you declare a variable or a method as static, it belongs to the class rather than to a specific instance. So this essentially means that only one instance of a static member exists, even if you create multiple objects of that class, or if you don't create any. It's going to be shared by all objects. So let's do an example real quick. Here is a variable, public static int count equals 0. So the count variable will be shared by all objects of that class. Now we can create objects of our counter class in main, access the static variable, like so. The output is 2 because the counts variable is static and gets incremented by 1 each time a new object of the counter class is created. In the code above, we created 2 classes. So essentially, whenever you create one, the count increases, right? Since this is that's a constructor, essentially that's a constructor, right? That's really, it doesn't have any parameters, but it's a nice little method right there, that basically it's a constructor. So whenever you call that constructor, it's gonna increment counts by 1, and then counts becomes 2. It's common practice to use uppercase when naming a static variable, but it's not mandatory. Okay, fill in the blank to declare a static variable. So public static int x equals 0. The same concept applies to static methods. So for example, if we have public class vehicle and then public static void horn, horn can be called without creating an object. So essentially you can just call horn without even creating an object for that. So vehicle.horn, and it's gonna say beep. Another example of static methods are those of the math class, which is why you can call them without creating a math object. Also, the main method must always be static. So what is the output of the following code? Let's see. Public a class person, public static int pcount, public static void main, person dot count equals 1, person dot pcount plus plus, and then person.pcount. Okay. So you have it 1, and then it should be 2, I believe. Yeah, because you have it equal to 1, and then you increment it, but you don't need to create an object to call it. So you essentially can just call that, and voila. And that's going to end it. That was basically static in a nutshell. It's not really that complicated. It's just, um, knowing what goes where, and then just using static at the right time. But if you just understand that the main method has to be static, that's really all you need. And also, a lot of people will say, oh, ChatGPT is bad. But I actually encourage you, if you want to learn more about this, have ChatGPT explain it to you in simpler terms. And you can actually learn more that way. And in the next video, we'll actually be trying that out. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.